Hello everybody, back again in another video. Alright guys, today's video is going to be about Roger Federer. I am in this Roger Federer saga or videos, or call it what you want. I am kind of analyzing some of his matches, and the match that I am analyzing at the current moment is one of the greatest matches that we have ever seen. Many of you out there believes that it is the greatest tennis match that we have ever seen, and which can be that can be discussed. Anyway, and the match I'm talking about is the Wimbledon final 2008. Exactly as the video is saying, top 5 reasons why Roger Federer lost that epic 2008 Wimbledon final against Rafael Nadal. Alright guys, without any further ado, let's get into this video. On my 5th place, I have Roger Federer's shot tolerance. Roger Federer's shot tolerance towards the end of the match was not the greatest. He was pulling the trigger too early, too fast, and he was going too much for winners, and he was doing a bunch of unforced errors. And speaking about unforced errors, I will talk about that later in the video, more specifically, in more details. But there you have my top, the 5th place. Roger Federer's shot tolerance was not the greatest, especially not towards the end of the match, where he was giving Rafael Nadal a lot of gifts. And that is on my 5th place. Rafael Nadal's shot tolerance was much better than Roger Federer's, especially towards the end of the match, and that is on my 5th place, why Roger Federer lost this epic 2008 Wimbledon final. On my 4th place, I have his mental block against Rafael Nadal, because we all know Roger Federer got destroyed against Rafael Nadal just 1 month or 5 weeks earlier, the same year in that French Open final 2008, 6-1, 6-3, 6-love. So Rafael Nadal gave Roger Federer a really beat down. He outclassed Roger Federer 5 weeks earlier in that French Open final 2008, and that really hurted Roger Federer's confidence going into that match against Rafael Nadal, because Roger Federer knew already from last year, 2007, prior to that 2008 Wimbledon final, he really had to dig really bad and really deep to defeat Rafael Nadal in that 2007 Wimbledon final. He really needed to do a great performance, which Roger Federer did in that 5th set at least, especially the last 3-4 games where Roger Federer pushed that beast mode button against Rafael Nadal in that 2007 Wimbledon final and did a bunch of winners and was serving big and was really doing a great amount of winners in that 2007 Wimbledon final in those 3-4 last games of the match. And he knew that coming into this 2008 Wimbledon final that this will be a really hard one. And considering that Rafael Nadal was 4-2 up in the head-to-head in Grand Slam matches coming into that 2008 Wimbledon final, and considering that Rafael Nadal was 11-6 in the head-to-head coming into that 2008 Wimbledon final, and consider Rafael Nadal, he had Roger's number. Let's be honest. He had, mostly on clay, but outside of clay as well. He had Roger's numbers, not only on clay, coming into that 2008 Wimbledon final. And Roger Federer was afraid. He was afraid from Rafael Nadal. He had admitted that himself after the match. He said that that destroying loss that I got from Rafael Nadal, that beat down performance that Rafael Nadal gave to me in that 2008 French Open final, that really hurted my confidence. So Roger had a mental block coming into that Wimbledon final 2008. He was afraid from Rafael Nadal. He didn't believe in victory, and that is on my 4th place, why Roger Federer lost this epic 2008 Wimbledon final against Rafael Nadal. He had a mental block coming into that Wimbledon final 2008 against Rafael Nadal. That is no shadow of a doubt about that. On a third place, I have Roger Federer's returns. They were not the best on that specific day. He did a lot of bad returns in that match. Easy returns where he dumped the returns into the net or hit them long. Rafael Nadal is not a John Isner or Karlovic server. Roger Federer should have done a much better return match than he did in that 2008 Wimbledon final. One of the reasons, which is in our third place here, is for sure Roger Federer's returns. Especially the first 4 sets. Towards the end of the match, he actually returned quite solid, Roger Federer, I must admit. But the first 4 sets, no, Roger Federer didn't have great returns. The first 4 sets, he had 12 breakpoint opportunities and converted only one of them. The first 4 sets. The 5th set, he had only 1 breakpoint opportunity and didn't convert. And he didn't do a bad return specifically in that only break point he had in that 5th set. Actually, Rafael Nadal landed a big first serve, and Roger Federer, he returned that first serve, but Rafa then made a huge forehand. Actually, he went for that shot. Rafael Nadal, he played really bravely when he had that only break punch opportunity against him, Rafael Nadal, in that 5th set, and he did a great serve plus forehand game, Rafael Nadal, and saved that break point. So I don't want to blame Roger Federer for not converting that only breakpoint opportunity he had in that 5th set, because Rafael Nadal played bravely tennis and saved that one. But the first 4 sets where Roger had 12 breakpoint opportunities and converted in only one of them, many of them were bad returning from Roger Federer. So on my second place, I have on my third place, I have Roger Federer's bad, weak returning while he lost that 2008 Wimbledon final. On my second place, the second reason, on my second place why Roger Federer lost the 2008 Wimbledon final, it has to do with the third place as well. Those 2 reasons go hand in hand. On my second place is Roger Federer's poorly breakpoint conversions. Yeah, guys, you have heard it many times throughout the years. Roger Federer had 13 breakpoint opportunities and he converted in only one of them, like I mentioned. And 12 of them came the first 4 sets. That is too bad. You don't win matches while having 13 breakpoint opportunities and converting in only one of them, which Roger Federer unfortunately did. He converted on only one of them. And the biggest mistakes that Roger did in this match was the first 4 sets. Like I said, the 5th set, he didn't have many chances. He had only 1 breakpoint opportunity, and Rafael Nadal saved it with a big serve forehand game. That's it. But the first 4 sets, Roger Federer is a really guilty one for not converting more breakpoint opportunities than he did. He really should have done much better in conversion in the breakpoint conversions, especially the first 4 sets. So the second reason why Roger Federer lost that 2008 epic Wimbledon final is for sure his poor breakpoints conversions. And that has to do with his weak returns, because when a player, a special lefty like Nadal, has breakpoint opportunities against him, he will always serve towards Roger Federer's backhand, because he knows that is a safe spot of doing, and he knows that if you serve towards his backhand, you will get rewarded, like of course he was. He saved 12 out of 13 breakpoint opportunities that he had against him, Rafael Nadal. And almost every single time he was serving towards Roger Federer's backhand side when he was saving all those breakpoint opportunities that Rafa had against him. So that is on my second place. Roger Federer really had a horrible breakpoints conversions in that Wimbledon 2008 Wimbledon final. on my number one place, guys. And this is actually something that I have needed to be rewatched, because I have forgotten this. I knew all of these 4 reasons that I mentioned. 5th place, his shot tolerance was bad, especially towards the end of the match. 4th place, he had a mental block against Rafael Nadal. 3rd place, he had a really bad return day in that match against Rafael Nadal. Not only that day, but Roger Federer's weakness is his backhand and his returns in his game. But especially that match against Rafael Nadal, he had really a bad returning day. So that is on 3rd place. 2nd place, Roger Federer had a really poorly breakpoints conversions. So these 4 reasons, I have actually known all of these 4. The number 1 spot that I will mention, my tennis fans all around the world, I have actually forgotten, because the match was played 14 years ago. So this was a reminder to me when I watched the match a couple of days ago. And I was watching the details. Why Roger Federer? Why he lost this Wimbledon epic final 2008 against Rafael Nadal? What was that was letting him down? And what was the absolutely biggest reason why he lost it? It was his forehand! His forehand, my tennis fans all around the world, who let Roger Federer down in the end of the match. And that's why he lost it. It was his forehand, my tennis fans all around the world. Or do you need to remind, or should I remind you? I will remind you, no problem. The last 5 games of the match, Roger Federer does 10 unforced errors with his forehand. The last 3 games of the match, Roger Federer does 7 unforced errors with his forehand. The last 2 games of the match, Roger Federer does 5 unforced errors with his forehand. And the last game of the match, the game that Rafael Nadal won 9-7, Roger Federer does only 1 unforced error with his forehand, and that was when Rafael Nadal won the match point, when Roger Federer hit a forehand into the net. But the biggest damage that Roger Federer did to himself, the biggest Santa Christmas game that Roger Federer celebrated, was in that 8-7 game, was in that 15th game of the in the 5th set. That 15th game, that 8-7 game, where Roger Federer completely gives that game away to Rafael Nadal with 4 unforced errors forehand. 4. Now Rafael Nadal took a lead in that 8-7 game, 40-15. Roger Federer saved those 2 first breakpoint opportunities he had against him. The first one with an ace, the second one with a big serve forehand game, and levels that to 40 all, to juice. Rafael Nadal gets another break point. Roger Federer saves it again with a big serve plus forehand game. Takes himself to juice again. To just once again do 2 straight forehand unforced errors and give Rafael Nadal the one of 4 breakpoint opportunity in the game with an unforced error forehand, Roger Federer of course, and then when Rafael Nadal breaks in the end to take the game to 8-7 and then having the opportunity to serve out the match 9-7, Roger Federer does an easy unforced error forehand. When he has a short ball in the middle of the court, Roger Federer hits it long and gives Rafael Nadal the unforced error and does 4 unforced error with his forehand. If you look how many unforced errors he did with his backhand, the last 5 games of the match, he does actually 1 unforced error with his backhand. And that was the last game where Rafael Nadal was serving in that 8-7 game for the match, where Federer did only 1 unforced error with his backhand. So in the end of the day, it was Roger Federer's forehand who let him down, and that's why he lost that 2008 Wimbledon epic final. So there you have my number one reason why Roger Federer lost that 2008 Wimbledon epic final against Rafael Nadal. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next time. Peace!